Good dusk, spatula fiends, and welcome to the mind-expanding delights of TotalCults.com. I'm James Trick.
I'm Dr. Gogol.
And today we're talking about... I never used to watch Buck Rogers as a kid. Obviously, in the late 70s, no families had a video recorder. And my family never really used to watch ITV in the evenings. They always used to watch BBC. And as the youngest kid in the family, I didn't really get an awful lot of say over what channel we were on. I was certainly never going to end up on ITV on a Saturday night, so I never got to see Buck Rogers, except we went to a friend's wedding.
Right.
And my parents weren't controlling the TV that was in the lounge at the reception, and so I did see an episode of it then. But that was it. That was the only Buck Rogers I'd seen as a kid. However, I was fascinated enough with Buck Rogers, and obviously would have seen it, because I bought the sticker album.
Okay.
And filled it completely. But the back section of the sticker album was dedicated to an episode called Space Vampire.
Right.
And looking at the pictures from that, I thought that looked properly creepy. There was this sort of melon-headed vampire with an enormous monobrow.
Yes.
Who I imagined, would be the distillation of cinematic evil.
Now, there's another link there, because the design, having just seen the episode for myself for the first time, there is similarities in design between that and not only Nosferatu, but the creature from Salem's Lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's obviously something about bulbous heads and
long fingers
that kids don't like.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't, but I was fascinated with it as well. I mean, it wasn't, I collected all the stickers, and every time I opened a packet that had a new picture of the space vampire, I felt a certain frisson, I mean, it drew me in as well as pushing me away. And seeing the episode now, I think, although to modernise, it's probably quite ridiculous.
Yes, it would be.
I still think, had I seen it in the late 70s, it probably would have freaked me out quite badly. Particularly the first appearance,
the first reveal
of the Vorvon is quite nicely done.
And done in a way that so few horror films deal with. They normally do the traditional, we'll keep it hidden in the shadows, point of view shots, whereas this was something that always frightens me, is where you think you've seen something and it's gone, just sitting at the end of a table.
Wilma Deering looks around the bar and the vampire's just there. And then she looks back and there is a shot of it, but then she looks back and it's gone. Really nicely executed, actually.
Very well done.
Well, it's the first episode, probably, of Buck Rogers that I've seen since that one that I saw in the wedding hotel reception. In probably 1980, something like that. So I was quite surprised at how some of it, as a show, I want to see more. It was quite campy. Some of the effects were quite good.
Yeah. The pilot specifically, as I mentioned, is very well produced. I was surprised that the matte paintings are excellent, and the integration of live action with the matte paintings is very, very good. Model shots are great. Obviously, there is some TV stuff in the way it's shot. It's very TV.
Right.
Multi-camera in the sense that it's just played out and done from a couple of angles. But for a TV pilot, very, very highly produced. And lots of good stuff going on. Great, good cast. Henry Silva as the villain. I'm a big Henry Silva fan. I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
Do you call him Big Henry Silva all the time?
Big Henry, yeah. Me and Big Henry.
Yeah, you're like that. I always thought I had a toy Twiki as well. You see, it's actually quite sad if you look back at the amount of Buck Rogers crap I had, considering I'd never seen the show, because my parents would watch BBC rather than ITV. Because I had the sticker book. I had a little plastic Twiki, like a Star Wars figure type thing, but Buck Rogers. I wanted Tiger Man, but he was really hard to get. He was really hard to get hold of. In fact, I've been tempted to get him off eBay since. Yeah. And I had a Corgi spaceship.
Diecast.
As well. Yeah, which was really nice, and it had little wings that popped out.
Yeah, there was two. I had two. I had the larger diecast one, about that big, with blue plastic things on the back, and that had the flick-out wings, and maybe a missile that fired.
Yes, I think it did.
And there was a smaller, more like the kind of Matchbox Hot Wheel car size ones, where the wings came out, but you had to slide a blue thing underneath that came back.
That as well.
So there were there, which I believe go for quite a bit of money now. And it is an Interceptor, I think it's called. Do you want to talk about the sweary episode as well, which I showed you?
Well, yeah, we
might clear it out for some people.
According to the BBFC episode, there's an episode called Planet of the Slave Girls, and according to the BBFC, that episode got rated 12 for strong language. But yeah, it's on the BBFC thing. It's down as A12 for strong language. Yeah. Only one.
And the reason I showed you this section of episode was because, having watched it with my wife, we were convinced that Buck Rogers had said "fuck."
Yes.
Now, as much as we were convinced,
and so were the BBFC.
Yeah, and we replayed it, and we couldn't. 12. What I think didn't help was the fact that the entire sentence is kind of garbled, and the only word
he's talking over a space intercom at the time.
And we watched it back and back and back, and we were sure that he couldn't have said that because it's a Buck Rogers, TV show. But we couldn't think of anything else that went in place. Now, you very cleverly just went on Google and looked it up and resolved the issue very quickly. That's what we do
in the 21st century. But you need to know what to Google, because I'd Googled the episode title and all that sort of thing, and what I actually Googled was what I could make out of the sentence along with Buck Rogers.
Yeah. And what we can reveal is he doesn't say fuck. He says there's something wrong with your funk and wagnalls.
Funk and wagnalls, which apparently is an encyclopedia. And the joke of referring to looking things up in a funk and wagnalls dates back to Rona Martin's Laugh-In from the 60s. So it's a sort of cultural reference that's no longer relevant. Yeah. And him saying, something wrong with your fucking wagnalls is what it sounded like.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, what are wagnalls and why did he just say fuck?
Yeah.
And evidently, but the fact that the BBFC obviously turned around and gave it a 12 on the basis that they thought he'd said it as well. And then the manufacturers didn't go, hang on, no he didn't. They just went, all right, fine. And so the whole box set's got a 12 on the basis of that one.
Misheard. Well, it could be the fact they think they know, but I think most people assume he said that.
Well, that's a possibility as well.
And therefore protecting from that.
Yeah, so you're protecting people from their own mishearing.
Which is even bizarre, because they didn't touch the bit where he calls Tweaky a cunt.
No, they didn't. They just left that there. And in fact...
In the opening credits for every episode.
It's slow motion as well, drawing it out and zooming in on his mouth, just forming every letter. It's a strange double standard.
Who knows what the BBC are up to.
There you go. There you go.
In today's episode, Gogol learnt an important lesson about safety. There are hazards in the world all around us, and it's only a matter of keeping your eyes and ears open to ensure that you make it through the day safely, even if you're busily engaged trying to arouse yourself with a picture, a close-up of your own ear canal. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter @TotalCults and on Facebook, facebook.com/something or other to do with Total Cults, and on our website totalcults.com, and go and buy our book, You Tight Bastards. We'll see you next time.